You found yourself on the first edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United in the year of 2024. And on today's episode, if there is a such thing as a perfect game in the game of basketball, the Sacramento Kings played a picture-perfect game as they took care of business against the Memphis Grizzlies. We got the first victory in the year of 2024 to break down, and we're going to do it right here on Let 'Em Know Kings United. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls. This is Let 'Em Know Kings United. Happy New Year, Let 'Em Know Nation, and welcome to the first edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United in the year of 2024. This, of course, is your Cleveland Cavaliers, Chicago Bulls, and Sacramento Kings post-game reaction podcast. And I, of course, am your host, Skylar Weisberg. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show, and you can find Let 'Em Know Kings United, which is 100% completely free and available on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, Pandora, or wherever else you listen to this show. Give the show a follow on those platforms if you can. Please turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. It is a great way to support the podcast, and I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. I would like to first and foremost apologize for the delay of this episode. This was supposed to drop yesterday on New Year's Day, but I was under the weather and was battling some allergies on the first day of 2024. I know, terrible start for 2024 for me, but I am 100%. I have recovered, and now I can focus on recapping the Sacramento Kings 123-92 win over the Memphis Grizzlies on New Year's Eve in a game that I thought it was the most complete and perfect game that the Sacramento Kings have played all season. And the reason why I said that this was a complete game is because when we got into big leads against very bad teams, take, for example, the Washington Wizards. That game in Sacramento was an opportunity for Sacramento to have a complete game. They played 3 complete quarters and they gave up the lead, or I should say they made the Washington Wizards game closer than what they should have been. In this game against Memphis, however, it was an absolute masterclass. It was a complete, perfect game. The Kings executed on both ends of the floor, and the defense really, really stepped up. We outscored Memphis 22-13 in the fourth quarter. Now, this was a Memphis team, mind you, that had Ja Morant. Coming into this game, I thought that Memphis was going to keep Sacramento close. It was going to be an entertaining matchup where at least Sacramento, or Memphis, I should say, would keep it close. That's what I thought. But no, that did not happen because Malik Monk scored 27 points. Domantas Sabonis, another triple-double. I mean, this man deserves the Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know who Jaren Jackson Jr. is. Honestly, he is an absolute fraud. I mean, to me, that's why Memphis is 10-22 on the year and now 2-12 at home. I mean, I understand that you didn't have Ja Morant for the majority of the season in prior to a suspension, but my God! Is Memphis that terrible or Sacramento that good? I don't know. But they shot 50% overall, speaking of the Kings, and 52% from beyond the arc. Both teams went to the reserves to close out the game. Malik Monk was 10 of 13 from the field and missed just one of his 5 3-point shots. And Domantas Sabonis and the Sacramento Kings had the best game of the season when it comes to rebounding. They out-rebounded the Memphis Grizzlies 59-34 in this game. I mean, you could argue that the Sacramento Kings dropped nearly 60 rebounds on the Memphis Grizzlies. Sabonis said of his rebounding, it was a team effort. I feel like we did a good job contesting those shots. Today was my night. And I cannot forget the MVP, Deaaron Fox, who scored 24 points, who won their second straight for the Sacramento Kings. Sabonis reaches 6th triple-double of the season. His 21 rebounds were 4 short of his career high. Jared Jackson led the Memphis Grizzlies with 18 points. Desmond Bane, John Moran, and Luke Kennard finished 17 points apiece. But the Grizzlies have lost 3 games in a row. But my biggest impression of this game was the Sacramento Kings defense. They kept the Grizzlies from getting to the rim. Memphis, which has rallied on Morant getting to the basket, was limited to 32 points in the paint. The Grizzlies finished shooting 37% from the field and 12 of 40 from beyond the arc. Mike Brown noted that not only his team held Memphis to poor shooting, but out-rebounded their opponent and kept the Grizzlies out of transition baskets. Mike Brown said, I'll tell you what, it's probably the best defensive performance that we've had since I've been here from start to finish. It was really, really fun to watch. For the first time, the Grizzlies had most of its roster available against the Kings, except for frontline players Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, who are dealing with long-term injuries. Taylor Jenkins said they had a good game plan. They double-teamed our guys. It was hard to win when you shoot 37% of the field. We missed a ton of shots in the paint, missed open threes, just one of those nights. The Kings opened the second half on a 15-3 run that stretched the lead as Memphis missed its first 8 shots. Sacramento outscored 31-21 in that period. But Memphis clearly lacked chemistry as players return to the lineup. Jenkins is working on different lineups and combinations. I think Memphis will be fine. They are just dealing with chemistry issues right now, and they will most likely make the play-in. But I want to talk about a specific change for the Sacramento Kings. Kevin Huerter did not start this game. He was, I guess you could say, relegated to the bench, while Chris Duarte, the former one-time Indiana Pacer, was in the starting lineup for the Sacramento Kings. Now, granted, I love the fact that Kevin Huerter is on this team, but he is too inconsistent for me. Because coming into this season, I expected Kevin Huerter to step it up a bit, step up his game, and make a lot of threes and make a lot of shots. That didn't happen. That's why Mike Brown was hinting on a possible change in the starting lineup. Put Chris Duarte in there, and Sacramento is on the right track. Will this last, though? I don't know. I think if I was Mike Brown, I would give Chris Duarte another start against the Charlotte Hornets, leave Kevin Huerter an opportunity to start against the Orlando Magic on the second night of the back-to-back, which again for the Sacramento Kings has been absolutely dreadful. But tonight was about Malik Monk. Tonight was about Domantas Sabonis. Tonight was about Deaaron Fox. And it was about the Kings defense, who played an absolute perfect game from start to finish. You could argue that this was the best win of the season for Sacramento because it was the most complete win that the Sacramento Kings have had all year. As I've noted before, the Sacramento Kings shot 51% for the field compared to 36% 36% for the Grizzlies, 48% from three compared to 30%. The free throw percentage, the Kings actually won the free throw percentage 76 to 71%. The rebounds 59 to 34, including 9 offensive rebounds for Sacramento. You could argue that Sacramento would have had 60 rebounds in this game. The assist numbers 28 to 20 in favor of Sacramento. The steals were 4 to 2 in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. The blocks were 4 to 1 Kings. The turnovers 13 to 8 in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies, because I think the less turnover team would ultimately win the stat. But the Kings did a sloppy job towards the end of the game of taking care of the ball, but that's beside the point. Pass break points 15 to 7 in favor of the Kings. The points of the paint 58 to 32 in favor of the Sacramento Kings. Domantas Sabonis beasted and feasted all over that Grizzlies defense. 13 points, 21 rebounds, 12 assists, and a steal. A plus 17. Deaaron Fox, a plus 20, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block. If he is not in the MVP conversation, I don't know what you're doing. And speaking of Defensive Player of the Year, you better put Domantas Sabonis in that conversation. I'm telling you that right now. Both of those guys deserve to be All-Stars. Keegan Murray, 10 points. He was 2 for 4 from three-point range, but he also had 3 rebounds and an assist on the night. Harrison Barnes contributed with 11 points, with 2 rebounds and a block. Chris Duarte in the starting lineup, and he produced 7 points, 6 rebounds. Not bad. Trey Lyles, it was Trey Day off the bench, 12 points, 3 rebounds, a steal. He was a plus 17 on the night. Everybody contributed off the bench, including Kevin Huerter, who dropped 9 points. He was 1 for 3 from 3. Malik Monk, you already know what he is off the bench. He is the 6th man of the year, absolutely no question. 27 points, 4 for 5 from three-point range with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. It was the most complete win all year for the Sacramento Kings as they light the beam to start 2024. That will do it for today's edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United. You can find this show on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, Pandora, or wherever else you want to listen to this show. Give the show a follow on those platforms if you can. Please turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. I'm your host, Skylar Weisberg. Happy New Year once again, and I will see you right back here for another edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United.